This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson, and welcome back to a new video. This might be news that you guys already know, but iPad OS, the first only OS for the iPad, is coming out very soon. iPad unveiled at their Worldwide Developer Conference the new OS for iPad and what it can do. And this OS, I think, is going to be game-changing to the creative community, especially those who are on the verge of buying an iPad Pro. So the key feature in an iPad is that you can draw. You can use Apple Pencil, which makes it so you can draw so accurately on the screen anywhere. And with this means that there's a lot of functionality, so illustrators can draw, people can type because you can plug a keyboard into it, and because the processors are so powerful and the iPad in general is just a powerful piece of equipment, we're able to edit video and do a lot of stuff on it. But what I'm not seeing on YouTube in other videos is people talking about the future of the iPad. One of the key features in the new iPad OS that is coming out is Sidecar. Now there's an app called AstroPad, and I've had this app for a while, and what it enables me to do is use my iPad as a Wacom Cintiq to my Mac. This kind of app has changed the way that I've done work in Photoshop and Illustrator. It allows me to use my iPad through my MacBook, so I don't have to get a Wacom Cintiq if I need to use Photoshop. Now what Sidecar allows us to do is to draw in Illustrator in Photoshop and use our iPads wirelessly to control our MacBooks, which is an insane thing. Obviously this is not new technology, but this shows us exactly where Apple are going. Not only that, but Apple have actually updated the latency and reduced the latency in the Apple Pencil. I don't think it'll be noticeable, but it is a dramatic difference. Some of the other key features of this is the home screen. So the home screen is changed. So we've got like this widget section on the left-hand side of the iPad, which allows us to see more at a glance of other apps. Another key feature is the long-awaited updated file browser, which allows us to instantly download things on the internet, so we get desktop class internet surfing experience, and the long-awaited ability to stick in a thumb drive. I'm not too sure if that means SSD either, but I hope it does. The iPad Pro was once only a consumer device where you could browse the internet, and that was really good. It was just a massive iPhone, and then it's quickly become a creator device with the form of the Apple Pencil and the new processors and the fact that we have a keyboard that can plug into it. What we're seeing with the new file browser and what we're seeing with the reduced latency, Sidecar, and all these other features is that Apple are moving more and more into the creative target audience. So Apple aren't marketing the iPad Pro into a consumer audience. I think they're targeting more of a creative audience. Now, what does this mean? As someone who uses the iPad Pro daily to do drawing and take notes and to surf the internet, do emails and whatnot, I would like to think the MacBook Pro is going to be replaced by the iPad Pro very soon. I think a lot of illustrators and people don't use Wacom Cintiqs anymore because Procreate is on the iPad, especially with Affinity Designer and the upcoming Photoshop native on the iPad. So the question is really, is the MacBook Pro dying? Well, no, it's not, because I firmly believe they can put all the software of macOS inside of an iPad, but they're not going to do it. They're going to keep it as iOS 13. But what I do think is happening is a new way of working. The iPad is a slate. It's a way that we can touch our work and hold our work in our hands, like Photoshop, Illustrator, and other things. I think iPad is changing the way that we work. And the direction in which Apple is going is allowing people like me who do hand lettering, illustration work, and even video content and writing content. It's changing the way that we can work and our portability with it. The new update with Sidecar allows us illustrators and people who do a lot of drawing on the iPad not to buy a Wacom Cintiq or another screen to do our work. It just means that we can have an iPad Pro, which is firmly showing the creative community that the iPad Pro is a viable option when looking for a computer. And not only that, Adobe Photoshop is coming natively to the iPad. So what does this all mean for the creative community? In my predictions over the next few years, and I'm going to come back to this video in a few years' time, I believe that the iPad Pro is going to be one of the most used devices for creativity on the planet. I think it's going to overtake some computers for non-render heavy illustrative work, 3D work, video editing, hand lettering, and graphic design. If they're able to get so much power into this iPad and to show people what it can do with all these features being updated all in the right direction, then that means that I think the iPad Pro is going to overtake in some way. Obviously, we can't use Sidecar without a MacBook, so it's a very clever idea from Apple because they know that if you're in the ecosystem, you probably have a MacBook Pro and an iPhone and a Mac anyway. So maybe these updates to the iPad Pro are going to change the way that you guys will think about buying it. Because I know a lot of you guys are very dead set, you know, I'm not going to buy that because I can do it all on paper, or I can get a Cintiq and I've got a MacBook Pro already. You know, beforehand, it wasn't really worth getting an iPad, especially if you didn't do very specific work like hand lettering or illustration. But now it's becoming more and more of a viable option because of Photoshop coming to the iPad. Does that mean Illustrator will come to the iPad? I mean, Affinity Designer came to the iPad. What about Premiere Pro? We've got Premiere Pro Rush. It's not very good, but it still works. There are so many questions that I've got, but I would love to know your thoughts down below. I know it was a bit of a weird video, but let me know your thoughts on the iPad Pro and where it's going. If you're in need of having a website, whether you want to have a blog, sell your online resources, make a shop, or even have a place to show your portfolio for potential clients, then Squarespace is the place for you. Squarespace is really affordable and you don't need to be a wizard in web design to make a stunning and beautiful website. They've got hundreds of templates to choose from that are completely customizable. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase of Squarespace, click that link down below in the description and it will help support the channel. If you enjoyed this video, press that like button. If you didn't enjoy it, press the dislike button twice. Remember to subscribe to the channel by pressing that red subscribe button down below, turning on post notifications as well as hitting the bell. And I will catch you guys in the next video. See you soon. Goodbye.